Welcome to Facts Repo, your go-to source for demystifying the world around us. Today, we're tackling a question that has lingered for half a century. Why did we stop going to the moon? In 1969, humanity achieved the impossible. Neil Armstrong's one small step on the lunar surface marked the pinnacle of human exploration, a moment etched into our collective memory. 6 missions and 12 astronauts later, in 1972, it all just stopped. The giant leaps for mankind became a dusty chapter in history books. For 50 years, no human has set foot on another celestial body. The silence has been deafening, and it has fueled a universe of speculation. Why did we abandon the moon? Was it a close encounter with something otherworldly, a secret warning from extraterrestrial beings to stay away? Conspiracy theorists have had a field day with this idea, painting a picture of a universe far more crowded and mysterious than we're led to believe. They point to supposed glitches in communication and classified documents as proof of a massive cover-up. But while tales of alien gatekeepers are thrilling, the real reasons are often more grounded, though no less complex. To understand why we stopped, we first need to understand why we went in the first place. The Apollo program wasn't born purely out of a desire for scientific discovery. It was forged in the crucible of the Cold War, a high-stakes geopolitical chess match between the United States and the Soviet Union. Space became the ultimate arena for demonstrating technological and ideological superiority. When Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space in 1961, it sent shockwaves through the West. President John F. Kennedy needed a bold, audacious goal to galvanize the nation and leapfrog the Soviets. He found it 240,000 miles away, landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth. This wasn't just a mission, it was a national obsession. The goal was singular and clear: beat the Soviets. And in 1969, with the world watching, America did just that. Once that primary objective was achieved, the political will that had fueled the Apollo program began to wane. The race had been won. The checkered flag had been waved. With the main competitor effectively defeated in the lunar race, the immense cost of the Apollo program became much harder to justify. Economists will tell you that this is where the real story lies. The Apollo program was astronomically expensive. At its peak, NASA's budget consumed over 4% of the entire federal budget. To put that in perspective, today's NASA budget hovers around half of 1%. The total cost of the Apollo program, adjusted for inflation, is estimated to be over $280 billion. That's a staggering amount of money, and public priorities were shifting. The late 1960s and early 1970s were a time of significant social and political turmoil in the United States. The Vietnam War was raging, and there were pressing issues at home, like poverty and civil rights. Many began to ask whether the billions being spent to send a handful of men to the moon could be better used to solve problems here on Earth. The public's fascination with space travel, once at a fever pitch, started to cool. Television ratings for later Apollo missions dropped significantly. The extraordinary had become almost routine in the public eye, and the political capital gained from each successive landing diminished. Politicians, ever sensitive to the shifting winds of public opinion and fiscal responsibility, began to see the lunar missions as a colossal expense with diminishing returns. The risk, both financial and human, was immense. Every Apollo mission was a high-wire act where a single malfunction could lead to a national tragedy. The near disaster of Apollo 13 was a stark reminder of just how perilous space travel was. The loss of the Apollo 1 crew in a launch pad fire in 1967 had already shown the ultimate price of this ambition. For politicians, the question became, is the scientific reward worth the life and death risk and the astronomical cost, especially when the primary political goal was already accomplished? The answer, increasingly, was no. The last 3 planned Apollo missions, 18, 19, and 20, were unceremoniously canceled. The incredible hardware, including the mighty Saturn V rockets, was either repurposed or turned into museum exhibits. Humanity's focus shifted from deep space exploration to low Earth orbit. The era of the Space Shuttle and the International Space Station began. These programs were scientifically valuable and fostered international cooperation, but they lacked the grand, exploratory ambition of Apollo. For decades, robotic explorers became our proxies. Probes, rovers, and orbiters mapped planets, analyzed soil, and peered into the distant cosmos, providing invaluable data without risking human lives or incurring the same level of cost. But the dream of returning to the moon never truly died. It simply lay dormant, waiting for a new reason, a new purpose, and a new generation to reignite the flame. Now, after a 50-year hiatus, that time has come. We are on the cusp of a new era of lunar exploration, driven not by a Cold War, but by a confluence of new ambitions, science, commerce, and long-term sustainability. This new chapter is called Artemis. Named after Apollo's twin sister in Greek mythology, the Artemis program aims to do what Apollo never did: establish a sustainable, long-term human presence on the moon. The goal isn't just to plant a flag and take some pictures. It's to build a base, to learn how to live and work on another world. The moon is no longer the finish line, it's a stepping stone. The scientific motivations are profound. The moon is a pristine museum of solar system history. Its craters hold water ice, a resource that could be a game changer for future exploration. This ice can be harvested and broken down into its component elements, hydrogen and oxygen. That means breathable air, drinkable water, and, crucially, rocket propellant. The ability to live off the land and refuel spacecraft on the moon could unlock the rest of the solar system. It transforms the moon from a destination into a deep space gas station, making missions to Mars and beyond far more feasible. This brings us to the ultimate goal of the Artemis missions. NASA has been clear: we are going to the moon to learn how to go to Mars. A mission to Mars is exponentially more difficult than a trip to the moon. It's a journey of months, not days. Testing life support systems, new technologies, and human endurance on the moon, just a 3-day trip from home, is a logical and necessary next step. But unlike Apollo, this is not a solo endeavor. The Artemis Accords have brought together a coalition of international partners and, for the first time, commercial companies. Private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are developing the landers and rockets that will carry astronauts to the lunar surface. This public-private partnership is designed to foster innovation and drive down costs, addressing the economic hurdles that grounded Apollo. The Artemis program also promises to be more inclusive. NASA has pledged that the missions will land the first woman and the first person of color on the moon, reflecting the diversity of the teams that make these incredible journeys possible. Artemis is a multi-stage program. Artemis I, an uncrewed test flight, successfully orbited the moon in late 2022, pushing the Orion spacecraft to its limits and proving the capabilities of the new Space Launch System rocket. Artemis II will be the first crewed flight, taking 4 astronauts on a journey around the moon, retracing the path of Apollo 8 but flying farther than any human has ever gone from Earth. Then comes the main event, Artemis III. This mission will see humans, for the first time in over half a century, descend to the lunar surface. They will land near the moon's south pole, a region rich in shadows and, we hope, water ice. So, the real reason we haven't been back to the moon is a combination of shifting politics, prohibitive costs, and a perceived lack of purpose after the Cold War race was won. The risk outweighed the reward. But now, the equation has changed. New technology, new economic models, new scientific imperatives, and a new, long-term goal, Mars, have made the moon more relevant and accessible than ever before. We didn't stop going because of aliens or a grand conspiracy. We paused because our priorities changed. Now, those priorities have realigned, and the dream of lunar exploration is alive once more. The 50-year gap wasn't an end, but an intermission. The stage is now set for Act 2 of humanity's lunar saga, a story that promises to be even more exciting and ambitious than the first. Thank you for joining us on Facts Repo. If you found this journey through space and time interesting, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the facts behind the fiction.